What's going on, Real Sales Talk crew? We are live and back at it again. Having a few little issues here with the camera, but we'll get that fixed. All right, that looks better. Awesome. So, guys, it's just going to be me here today. Sean is actually having a anniversary today with his wife. I hope that's knowledge I can share with everybody. But it's their wedding anniversary, so I'm going to let him enjoy the night rather than be here. Although this is pretty enjoyable myself, but, wifey. So congratulations, Sean and Heidi. Many, many more to you guys. And Real Sales Talk people, hey, thanks for joining me. I know Sean's been holding down the fort a few weeks without me. As many or some of you probably know, I was in South Africa for the last, I missed 2 Real Sales Talks and a tech talk. So out of the loop a little bit, but I'm back and I'm ready to rock and roll. So today, guys, we're going to be talking about the difference between business-to-business sales and business-to-consumer. As some of you know, I'm definitely well-versed in the business-to-business sales. Was doing that for about 5 to 6 years at EMC, which is now Dell, and at Zerto, to now moving on to the business-to-consumer side at Digital Architecture with my dad company. And actually, you guys are the first to hear this, but we're actually going to be changing the name of Digital Architecture to Digital Home, which it's just digihm.com. So make it a little easier from a website perspective as well. So out here is some of the things that I've learned over the past month or so that I've been moved over to the business to consumer side. Like as I said, I was doing the business to business for 6 years or so. So today I'm going to talk a little more about the differences that I've seen. Before I get into that, I do want to do the normal rundown that we do here, Real Sales Talk. And I want to talk about the ways that you guys can ask questions as I'm going through this. Please, as always, ask as much as you can. I will be monitoring it. So just go to Twitter, put in hashtag Real Sales Talk, and any questions that you guys have. I'll be monitoring it throughout this discussion. Being that it's going to just be me, I may be as diligent as I would be if it was Sean and I, so I can't go back and forth as much as I can. But I'm going to do my best in making sure that I get to anything that you guys ask. Without further ado, I guess we can jump. So, business-to-business sales versus business-to-consumer. So first I'll define both of them. Business-to-business is just not from your company to, so I'll start with business-to-consumer. So business-to-consumer is doing sales from your company to a direct end user. For example, somebody like Target, right? They do sales from them to you, right? You buy directly from Target. Or HBO, they create their content and you buy HBO's content, right? So it's very simple to understand. Probably most of the businesses that you deal with are business to consumer, day-to-day basis. That is unless you are a purchaser for an organization, in which case that would make that a business-to-business sale. Examples of that would be something like Zerto or EMC, which I previously came from, where we sold information technology to large companies. So you can think of, for example, Dell, right? Dell actually does business to business and business to consumer, but business to consumer is them, you buying a laptop from business to business is like your company buying thousands of laptops or hundreds or what have you. That would be a business to business sale. Or, a box.com, companies buying from them, or Amazon Web Services, companies buying storage from Amazon, and so on and so forth is what business to business is. Over the course of the past few weeks, and kind of coming into this, right, I didn't think there was that much of a difference between the two. And honestly, like, once you get to the sales part, because everything is dealing with people, whether you're dealing with a person within a large organization, or just a man who owns a house. It's a person-to-person delivery at that stage. The challenges or the differences are other places. So the number one thing first thing I'll talk about, just that, right, in terms of the size of the organizations that you're dealing with when you're doing sales, right? In a business-to-business sale, there can be many different decision makers, influencers, champions within an organization that can really change the way that your sale goes. You may get on the phone with one person, but that does not mean that person is the person that can actually buy your product. Just because you're talking to a systems admin in the IT department and they love your product, most of the time that doesn't mean enough. You need to go talk to the IT director, sometimes the CIO. Maybe you need to talk to some developers, or there could be 20 to hundreds of people within a business-to-business sale. Whereas on the business-to-consumer side, it's typically one or two people, right? If you're selling a car, larger purchase, you're probably going to talk to a husband or wife, unless they're single, in which case you probably. So complexity standpoint, at that point in time, a business consumer sale is a lot simpler once you get to the actual sale. Whereas business to business, there can be a lot of complexities and a lot of political things going on. Whereas, maybe one person wants to buy it. Everybody in the company knows that product, but your company screwed over one person 10 years ago and they're throwing a kibosh into the deal. There's so much that could happen there. Obviously, something like that could happen within a business to consumer sale, right? If you're, my parents just sold their house. Typically within buying and selling a house, when somebody's buying a house, maybe the wife may come and like it, and then the husband will come see it as well, and they'll make a group decision on it. It's typically not that the husband comes, sees it, and goes, "Hey, I'll buy it," right? It's just not how it goes. And there could always be something that goes down in between there that's political, that is a reason that you end up not selling the house. Maybe, and we all know there's some personal relationships, right? Maybe the wife told the husband no about something and say no too, right? And that throws off your sale. But overall, the amount of political stuff that could potentially happen between two people is a lot less than that could happen between hundreds. So that's the main thing I wanted to talk about in regards to like the sizes of the amount of people that you're going to deal with within business to business versus business to consumer sales. Another thing that I think is important to talk about is really the way that you get to people, right? To business sales, there's, so number one, both of them, there's a lot of marketing that goes involved in advertising, et cetera, that go to people to do sales. If you are in a larger organization, typically a more developed process, whereas they may be doing blogging, they may be doing videos, they may be doing advertising on Facebook, Google, magazines, TV, etc. Get leads into the funnel that then you as a salesperson can get to. And that's business to business, that's business consumer. So we're taking marketing out of this a bit. Business to business ordeal, whether you have those leads or not, you can typically go onto LinkedIn, Hoover's, Manta, etc., Discover or Ranking. There's all of these different databases that you can go through to find who you want to call. You can also rank by the business size, business type, etc., based on who you want to call. It makes it pretty easy to find out who your target is. For example, if I'm at Zerto and I'm trying to find large organizations, let's say maybe not the largest in the I'm running, but also I don't want to find the small. So I'm looking for around $200 million per year organizations, $500 million per year, around there. I can easily go within Ranking, find those organizations, find the contacts that I need, like the IT director, like the CIO, like the VP of IT, etc. And in that database, get their direct line, their email address, and more. So easier for me to then target those people to actually sell to. Business to consumer, something I'm realizing, a lot different. 1 second. Within a business to consumer sale, more feasible, yes. But just not as easy. You'll see a lot of times that, so the perfect example of business to consumer salespeople, I think, are looking at like real estate agents or realtors. And those are people that I've been learning a lot from as I've been going through this. I mean, it's an industry that's been around for a long enough time, and there's enough people who have figured it out that you try to reinvent the wheel there. So in terms of business to consumer, not as many like databases to go through to find people to reach out to. And that does make things a little more difficult. And the reason I'm not looking at the camera here is I actually have, I talked to a Heights who gave me not a database, but another tool to use to get contact information for consumers or homeowners. Will help, and I don't want to talk a little bit about that as I go through this here. So in the same way that in a business to business sale, you would kind of segment off, and that's always kind of the way you want to approach any type of sales, is don't try to boil the ocean, segment off where you want to call into and go from there. So as I mentioned, in business to business, I may say, I want to call on accounts that are financial industry, $500 million, between $100 million and $500 million in revenue, because that's my sweet spot. I would do the same thing if I was calling in the business consumer. I would say, okay, I'm trying to call into higher net worth people, because it's harder to find out what their net worth or income is. But I know I want to call into higher net worth, and I know that I want to be in this area, whether that's it could be a certain town or city or state. For me, it'd be Montclair, New Jersey. That's where we operate now as a business. So I'd say I want to look in Montclair, New Jersey, and then based on that, I can say, okay, where are the higher net worth people in Montclair? I can kind of map out those streets, etc., And then I can do a few things in terms of kind of getting in contact with them. Number one, and probably the most obvious, is just going door to door. I could go just kind of introduce myself, tell them what I do, tell them why they should talk to us, and either try to close them there, which our sale is pretty large, so it's harder to close on that point. But maybe just start to build a relationship. Maybe that they give me their email address. Maybe they give me their phone number, that we can continue this conversation. Number two would be doing some kind of like direct mailer, which again is something that is fairly obvious and something that people have done forever, right? Mailer out to higher incomes and utilize that as a way to move forward. And I'm talking semantics here because I haven't done all this yet, but these are ideas that I have for business consumer based off my knowledge of business to business. And then number three is something that Chelsea Pites told me about. And guys, I recommend you check her out on Snapchat. And I'm going to give you her Snapchat name here if I can find it quickly. But before I even go into her Snapchat name, I want to talk about what she gave me. So her Snapchat name is Chelsea.Pites, P-E-I-T-Z. But she told me about a tool called mojosells.com. And it's $30. And what you're able to get is contact numbers of people based on their address. So it's not necessarily a cell phone, but you're going to get some kind of contact information of people based on the address that you're looking for. So if you're trying to target a neighborhood, this gives you a lot better way of actually finding out people who live in that neighborhood. So you're not sending direct mail because I've gotten direct mail, and to be honest, like I can't think of a time that I've bought something via direct mail. That could be a generational thing. So maybe it'll work if you're going into a older demographic, which I am a bit. So it may be worth trying. And with door to door, there are some laws around that I'm not familiar with everything. But I know they call it like you need like a peddler license, or I forgot what the other one is called. But there's some laws around doing door to door sales. So just want to make sure you're kind of going about everything the right way, because you don't want a lawsuit on your hand. So yeah, just challenge that I've run into with doing the business to consumer, or differences I've run into doing business to consumer versus business to business. That being said, one other thing that I'll talk about between the two, but at the same time, a little different in the way you approach it, is partnerships. So I'm huge on partnerships. I've talked about a ton when I was at Zerto. It was a way that we got into a lot of businesses, because at the end of the day, co-cons can work, but from a percentage standpoint and from a percentage of call standpoint, it's not the most effective use of your time. So a good way to get in is through partnerships. At Zerto, a lot of the way that we did that was through like resellers, whereas they would resell the Zerto software. They'd therefore get a discount on it. And they'd bring us in for that reason, right? In this case, I am kind of a reseller of products. So can't really go to other resellers of products. Like we resell Sonos, we resell Savant systems, we resell Nest thermostats, etc. So for me to, so I'm the reseller that those companies are using to get in. So reseller is not really the way, but there's other ways, right? Within Zerto, we went to other, we called them. So We sold the software, and then there were complementary products amongst that you needed to make an actual solution. So in that case, it was storage arrays, backup products, et cetera, et cetera. In the industry that I'm now in, we sell home technology, right? Things that are going to help you control your house via your phone or voice. So who else talks to people are going to be implementing home technology, doing any type of home renovations, or just have a lot of money? And when I look at that, there's a few different types of people that I think about, right? So number one is deals with home renovation. So the people like construction companies, home remodeling companies, interior decorators, who else? Electricians. So these are all different people that I'm in contact with now to see if that can help me get in front of some of these consumers, so that then I can talk a little bit more about what we do. But then there's other kind of partners that I can think about, right? They deal with people who have a lot of disposable income. So think about who can buy a lot of maybe homes, right? Maybe they're buying vacation homes. Maybe they're buying a larger home, right? So real estate agents. Maybe they buy a lot of jewelry. So jewelers, things like that. Luxury cars or boats. So Bentley dealers, Mercedes dealers, those kind of people. People buying boats. Because at the end of the day, what I sell is definitely so. In good times, that means everybody. Why? And I think the industry is also, in terms of the level that you need to be to buy it, it's not as expensive as a product as it used to be. But for the larger deals, that's definitely the place that you go, is for the more disposable income people. Cool. All right. So the last thing that I wanted to chat about was the research aspects of business to business and business to consumer. From a business to business standpoint, there's a lot more research that can be done, just in regards to who you're dealing with and what they want, what they have, and who you're competing with. That doesn't exist as much on the business to consumer side. It goes back a little bit to how I talked about like segmenting out companies and going through things like Manta, Hoover's, Rain King, and things like that, that you can find out if they own one of your competitors, who the person is that you need to talk to. You can learn about their financials, because maybe they are a $200 million company. If they were a $500 million company last year, the chances of them actually buying something now is a lot slimmer, because they're dealing with real issues. So they may no longer want to be on your list. Whereas if I'm a business consumer company, if somebody lives in a large house right now, right, that means typically look, they may be a good candidate for me to talk to. But what I don't know is that the guy in the house was fired yesterday, or or that house is actually they haven't paid their mortgage in 10 days, 10 months, or a year, or what have you, right? So they're on their way to foreclosure. There's no way for me to really do that research and find that kind of stuff out. So different strokes for different industries and different places that you're in, right? So different aspects and different ways to kind of think about the different industries that you could be in. So if anybody has any questions in regards to like how that works and what that means to your industry, let me know. I mean, I'd love to talk to you more about different partnerships that you can think about in terms of getting in contact with people. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing business to consumer, marketing is really going to be your best friend. That's your way, because calling is just so much more difficult, because it's just not as applicable to find the information. I mean, you can just go through a phone book and literally make cold calls, just going through it, and I'm just going to dial them. But you don't have nearly as much of that information that you would in a business-to-business scenario. So definitely just a thought to keep in mind as you guys are going through this. So different marketing strategies you can do, whether it's blogging, video blogging, advertising. So Facebook ads are doing very well right now. Google, I'm going to be trying all of this as time goes on. So think about all these different things that you can do, and let me know what you guys are experiencing, because I am new to this business to consumer side as well. And although the differences that I'm seeing, I'm continuing to learn and always open to hearing from what people are doing and how I can continue to improve. So, guys, I know this was a shorter episode, it being mostly just me. I think we went about 30 minutes. If Sean was here, we'd probably get another 30, right? 30 from me, 30 from him, and we'd really make that work. But today it's just me talking. I don't want to talk to you just to talk to you for an hour. I think there's some nuggets in there, and I hope to kind of continue the conversation on Twitter as you guys kind of jump on this and listen to it after the fact. So let me know what you guys think. As always, I'm at Talk to Henry J on Twitter and really every place else around the internets. And then Sean is Sean M. Mitchell everywhere else on the internet. So please get in contact with us, guys, and we'd love to talk to you. Have a good one, and good luck with your Monday. Peace.